What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another episode of Heartbeat of America, Season 2. My name is Michael Richard Diarra, aka Dynamic, aka Dime. My main scope of things is neurology. I'm always going to be a student within that because things are always evolving and being discovered within the medical field. I also have a background of RMA and RPT. I also dabble in music and artistry. So this episode, Women vs. Men, called The War, this honestly shouldn't even be a thing. But in past times, we have kind of evolved into independency, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing to be an independent individual. But the fact that the layers of, oh, I don't need women, or from a woman, oh, I don't need men, is ridiculous, because both sexes need each other to thrive and maintain life in the globe of the earth. So honestly, this shouldn't even be a thing. But due to factors such as poor guidance as a youth, sarcasm, women leading on men, men leading on women, and unable to decipher reality from fantasy. And I understand nowadays people get into these groups and things become a fantasy setting. Honestly, don't even get into those type of groups because it messes with people's emotions. But if you're not able to decipher that it's a fantasy and a leading on for sexual pleasurement, then you're not developed enough to appear to even be reacting in those type of settings. And that goes from all the way down from a teen all the way up to an adult, because you could be an adult and still not be fully developed up here. I think that's a very misconceived thought and fact that is overlooked a lot. But women and men are made for one another, regardless what all these social groups try to tell you. One thing that will always be the war, though, is that man will never know woman and woman will never know man. We operate on two different wavelengths and require different frequencies to operate. Sure, objective things, like I said, could be done by either sex, one more proficient than the other in some aspects, but regardless, women can do the things that men can do and men can do the things that women can do, besides on the reproductive part of it. And I know science nowadays can change that, but that's not the natural portion of life. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's not the natural course of things. And another reason I feel like there's a war between men and women is because in past times, women were devalued, treated less, called whores. Unfortunately, there were some women that fit that aspect of things, but that doesn't mean they were less of a human. And the same thing with men. There were men out there that did the same thing. But for some reason, women got more of a backlashing, per se, in that type of aspect of life, which I don't understand. I feel like equally the punishment should have been equal, but that's not for me to say or state due to the fact it's an opinion. But just for the fact that women were devalued brought them to a feeling that they need to prove that they can do it or be better, and that shouldn't even been a thing or even be like that. Because both realms bring balance to one another, and both sexes need one another. But another part of this war is nowadays the same sex relationships. Now, I'm not a partaker in all that. I could care less what people do with their relationships or anything like that. But I have come to understand that those people within the same sex relationships, you guys are horrible at knowing what no is. Like I said, I don't care about people's relationships, but for some reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, those type of groups are always quick to say something about straight individuals when straight individuals don't even care about your guys' relationships. And to be honest, nobody should care about anybody's relationships. Everybody should just be happy that another person's happy. But the fact that those groups don't know what no is sometimes, I think, is what draws the line. And the craziest thing about all that is I'll never understand it, because I don't know how a man could go and live life of asshole without pussy. Like, I'll never understand that. I may get hate for that comment, but I don't understand how you go a life full of asshole but no pussy. It is what it is. It may just be opinion to y'all, but I don't see how a man can't love a woman. I can understand why a woman would love a woman, because women are just beautiful creatures and very elegant. But to second that, I don't understand how women can trust another male that likes males in that aspect. And I'm saying this because they don't even like your species. And I can undertrust you don't trust a male that you've been with that has broken your heart and lines of the relationship. You shouldn't. But all that could be avoided by not jumping into things and unlocking yourself first. Because if you do that, you know what you deserve. You know the love you require. You love yourself, so you wouldn't let anything fall short of that. But it's always a war, and I don't understand why, because it shouldn't be like that. And then falling into relationships like that, then y'all create a family and have these kids, and then those kids see all these different partners coming in between the father and mother, and it's just horrible. It's not a sight that should be seen, and it's being taught through being seen. It's not verbally, oh, this is right, because it's not right. And I'm speaking for myself in this, because I grew up in a home like that, and I hate that shit. Like, I hate it. I don't like the fact that people say, oh, I have a stepdad, I have a stepmom. I don't like that shit. I only have one dad and one mom, and that's it. Regardless who is the lesser of evils, redundant, because they should have fucked responsibly. And I feel like I let them know that, and the world know that, because everybody wants to talk about mental health and stuff, but don't want to get down to the aspects of what causes it. And that's a main subject in that category, is broken homes. But I feel like that's also contributes to war, because men and women jump into relationships too soon and think that they're in love, but it's really just an act of sexual feelings, which isn't bad. I mean, I've had people in my life that I never thought I would have sexual relationships with, but end up turning into a sexual relationship. And humans need that release. It's better to just do it by yourself so you don't get into those type of diseases and shit. But most of the time, women and men are clean, from my professional evaluations and shit. But regardless, it's better to keep to yourself, love yourself, and wait for that person that could operate at the same wavelength as you and match your frequency as a human. But I feel like that's because the war in between men and women feel like they always have to prove themselves because that's what they, through past times and bringing ups, that's what they seen, and that's how they developed feelings in that aspect of life. And it shouldn't be like that. Women are goddesses unless they prove that they're not. So yeah, I know this is a touchy subject, but it has to be said. Do better, people. Broken homes aren't a cool thing. Love yourself enough to not put yourself through that pain, and be responsible enough. If you have kids, don't put that type of visual acuity into their line of sights, because I know those people in those type of households and relationships, they carry that weight on their shoulder in pain, and it's always drama. No matter what it is, y'all could say y'all try to work together and make things work for the children, but there's always that backlash and hatred that is stemmed within that type of relationship. So let's just do better, people. Not just for self's sake, but for future generations' eyes in bringing up. Much love. Got love for everybody populating the map. Stay vibrantly savage and never give up on yourself. Until next time, my name is Michael Richard Diabera, aka Dynamic, aka Dine. Take care, y'all.